Welcome back for another video. Who are the best players to buy to get maximum points? Let's break it down as always by position with FPL review projection data for reference, and we'll start with the goalkeepers. So Sales has just risen overnight to 5 mil and he's the top scoring keeper in the game, and it's a joint top of all keepers for GW22 along with Raya. Another really impressive result, drawing 1-1 with Liverpool. That's one win and one draw against them this season, and they're home to Southampton next, which is about as good as fixtures come. So should we buy Sales then? Is he the best keeper in the game? Or perhaps not in terms of buying him. Looking at the next 5, there are a few keepers here projected to fare better over the next 5. Raya, Alisson and Pickford to name a few. Alisson and Pickford of course have got their double game week officially announced now, which is in game week 24, so that's factored into their projections. If I was picking any keeper right now, it'd be Alisson personally, and then Raya, then Pickford. Liverpool's 18.25 expected goals conceded is best of all teams. Only Forest have got more clean sheets with 9 to Liverpool's 8. Honourable mention to Henderson, who's only 4.5 mil and the cheapest on this list. A clean sheet in game week 21, and his 17.1 projected points is basically even with Sales for much cheaper for the next 5. Still a decent long-term fixture run for him, even with Leicester out of the way. It's West Ham, Brentford, Man United, Everton, Fulham, Aston Villa and Ipswich. Congrats to Dubravka, who just set a record as the oldest keeper ever to keep a clean sheet on his birthday, turning 36 in a 3-0 win over Wolves and a price rise to 4.3 mil. But it's not worth going there, given that Pope's nearing a return. Moving on to the defenders, and it's a pretty crazy list this week. We'll cover defenders not on the list as well, but as far as what we've got here is the top 8. It's Aina, Murillo, Williams, Milenkovic, all making the table for Forest ahead of that Southampton fixture. 5.3 mil though, very expensive for Aina. He's risen 0.8 mil this season. Only Wood, Palmer and Salah have risen more. If I was picking a Forest defender now, it'd actually be Milenkovic for a lot cheaper. You might be surprised by the fact that Milenkovic has registered 3.1 expected goal involvement this season to Aina's 1.7 XGI, so Milenkovic almost fared twice as highly for XGI. Gabriel owners will feel hard done by getting just the 1 pointer from him in game week 21 against Spurs, coming away with man of the match as well. It actually looked like it was Dragusin who got the header that came off Solanke from alternative angles, hence it was a Solanke goal, no assist. He's on the table again though, so keep faith in him. So Newcastle, they're on an absolutely absurd run, not just the 6 wins on the bounce, but they've literally conceded 1 goal over those 6 games, so 5 clean sheets in 6. That's actually 1 goal conceded from 4.7 goals expected goals conceded. For comparison, Liverpool have got 1 clean sheet over the last 6, with better XG conceded. Nonetheless, Hull's been ridiculous value, even at 4.9 mil, still a great pick. It's 3 solid fixtures as well still, Bournemouth, Southampton and Fulham, and then it's 3 difficult fixtures, Man City, Forest and Liverpool, and then it's a clean run of games again that he's startable in after that, so it's not too late to pick up Hull. Munoz doesn't make the list either, but he's another very solid option for cheap. Him and Hull were the 2 defenders that I was recommending on the deadline stream last game week, and they both kept a clean sheet, so that's a good start. Munoz has got 1.1 XGI over the last 4 games played, but no returns, 9 chances created, so he's been very unlucky not to have an attacking return, and it's surely coming. If I had to pick one right now, Munoz or Hull, it would be Hull as long as you've got some cover for those 3 tricky games in game week 25 and 27 especially, otherwise go Munoz. Are there any other super cheap defenders to consider then? Well, Castagna's the only one that's leaping out right now really. Tete's return date's been pushed back to late March or early April, so for 4.2 mil it's still an amazing value pick. Nico Williams of course on the table right here for 4.3 mil. He's fine as well, but he does have Alex Moreno for competition, who may or may not come in at some point. If I was picking a wildcard backline, it'd be Trent, Gabriel, Hall, Munoz and Castagna. Maybe an Everton defender over Castagna, but then you're spending more at the back, but you do get that double game week coming up. Onto the midfielders, and well done if you bet against Salah on the likes of Palmer and Isak in game week 21, but the question is it worth betting against Salah again this week? There's quite a gap again on the projections. Palmer's on 8.2 projected points and Salah 7.3. So it is a big enough gap to consider this another opportunity as it was on last week's video. Wolves have got serious issues in defence. It was a back 3 of Doherty, Bueno, and new signing Agbedu. Lamina left out of the squad as well because Pereira said that he told him he wants out of this team and he wants to move elsewhere. Wolves have conceded 48 goals this season, more than any team. That's on average 2.2 per game. That all said, it's not like Brentford have been a solid defence at all either. 37 goals conceded, and their underlying data is equally bad to Wolves really. Both have got 3 clean sheets. Wolves have had 35.3 XGC, Brentford 34.7, so very little difference in that respect. Brentford have conceded 42 more shots in the box as well, which is where Salah thrives. Who are you captaining next game week then? Is it one of these two or is it someone else? We'll talk about Isak as well in the forward segment in a minute. Elsewhere in the table, Bruno's 3rd, Odegaard 4th. Odegaard's actually created 14 chances across his last 2 appearances for Arsenal against Man United and Spurs. That's as many chances created as all of his teammates combined over those 2 matches. Gordon's the midfielder who's banging form right now though, after Salah of course. The last time he blanked in a game he started was Game Week 12 back in November. Over the last 6 game weeks, only Salah can better his 44 points among midfielders. I'd still rate Bruno as the better pick for the pens and set pieces and slightly better fixtures for the next 6 or 7 game weeks, but it does depend on where that 0.8 million can go on your team. Semenyo has been a real troll this season. He seems to do best in the tougher games when you least expect it. His last 3 goals coming against Chelsea, Man United and Man City. He's on 3.8 points. He doesn't make the table given it's away at Newcastle next. But perhaps that tough fixture will suit him for whatever reason, if there's anything to read into, based on his output this season. For the next 8 game week projections, he's higher than any midfielder for 7 mil and under, which is quite surprising. He's even ahead of Eze, Ahmad and Rodgers. Despite his record against tougher teams, it doesn't really make any sense to buy him before Newcastle, Forest and Liverpool, but he's one to keep on your radar, because from game week 25, they hit a really nice run of fixtures, and he's nice and cheap for 5.6 mil. Eze makes more sense to buy if you're looking for a cheaper midfielder right now. He just misses out on making the table with 4.9 projected points for game week 22. He's starting to show form now with returns in his last 3 games in a row. Onto the forwards then, and it's Isak's world and we're just living in it right now. He's just the 4th player ever to score in 8 successive games in Premier League history, so it's incredible what we're witnessing right now. The other 3 that have done it is Vardy, who's done it twice for Leicester, Ruud van Nistelrooy, who did it twice for Man United, and Daniel Sturridge once for Liverpool. So yeah, Isak's just unstoppable right now, and he's second on the table with 6.3 points. It is Haaland top in 7.0. To compare the mids again, Palmer's on 8.2, Salah 7.3, Haaland 7.0 and Isak 6.3. At the end of the day though, football's so unpredictable. A common narrative last week was don't bet against Salah because he's been in unstoppable form, but it came off for those that were brave enough. Does the same apply to Isak this week though? They're doing everything they can to feed him chances and that'll definitely continue. If he can score against Bournemouth and then Southampton and then Fulham, then he'll have tied the all-time record for goals in consecutive games. He'll have to score against City to beat the record, and he probably never gets this opportunity again. Jackson and Wood are both actually tied on 5.5 projected points this week, which actually suggests that selling Jackson for Wood could run the risk of backfiring. 1.42 XGI for Jackson last match, which is really impressive, and he got the assist for Palmer's goal, and he's playing against Wolves next. However, given Wood's superior form, better ownership, and significantly better price, then it's an understandable switch, particularly if that 1.2 million goes for a good upgrade elsewhere. So what would my wildcard front 3 look like? Well, Isak's a lock, and I think it'd probably be Wood and João Pedro the other 2. João Pedro has been seen in training a couple of times this week, so he should be fine for the weekend. What are your transfer plans for Game Week 22? Let us know in the comments. We haven't got much time to weigh it all up ahead of the Saturday deadline, but if this video was helpful, remember to hit like before you go and subscribe for more FPL content before the deadline. See you soon for the next one.